I would like to introduce you to an award-winning multicultural author, Pam Munzo Ryan.
Well, I was born and raised in Bakersfield, California in the San Joaquin Valley. And I was the oldest of 3 daughters, and I'm the oldest of 23 grandchildren on my mother's side. So when people ask me what was your childhood like, I tell them the truth. It was noisy. And I have a lot of fond memories of big family gatherings at my Mexican grandmother's house. My other grandmother also lived nearby, and she lived out in Arvin, California, and she was from Oklahoma. So one Saturday I would go to one grandmother's house and I would eat fried chicken, black-eyed peas, smothered greens, and peach cobbler with big fat dumplings that would stay in your stomach for about a week. And the next weekend I'd go to my other grandmother's house and eat red mole and enchiladas, rice and beans, and lamb stuffed with garlic. So, you know, I had a really interesting, fun childhood. One of the things that I think prepared me the most for being a writer was that I was blessed with a lot of big blocks of unchoreographed time and a lot of benevolent neglect that gave me the opportunity to spend a lot of time playing and developing my imagination, and I'm really thankful for that.
Pam has written over 25 children's books from 1996 to 2011. She is well known for her portrayal of strong individuals overcoming adversity. As Pam began to write her own books, she stated, "After I started, I couldn't stop thinking about the possibility of writing my own stories, and one thing led to another." Pam's children's book, 100 is a Family, was published in 1996. This book celebrates the various meanings of a family, from 1 to 100, by connecting love, friendship, circles, the community, and heritage. In 1999, Amelia and Eleanor Go for a Ride was published.
I'll give you a little background on Amelia and Eleanor Go for a Ride. I was reading an adult book one day called Hearts of Fire, and in this book was a series of articles about famous American women and myths about them. The subtitle had the word myth in the subtitle. So I came across this one paragraph about this evening in 1933 when Amelia Earhart spent the night at the White House and took Eleanor Roosevelt for her first night flight over Washington, D.C. Well, because the word myth was in the subtitle of the book, I thought, oh, I wonder if this is true or not, or maybe it's just one of those stories like George Washington cutting down the cherry tree. So I went to the big library in San Diego and went on the microfiche, the Associated Press microfiche, because I figured if it was true, it would have made the press. So I had the date, and I went on the next morning's AP articles and searched, and sure enough, there were the articles. There were the newspaper accounts of the previous evening. And so then I knew it was true. And so then I began the deeper research and the details, and contacted the White House curator's office and was able to read books written by the housekeeper who lived in the Roosevelt White House. And so one thing led to another, and we have a...
In regards to Pam's writing, she stated that, "My main concern when I sit down at my desk is to write a compelling story, one in which the reader wants to turn the page, a story I care about. Whether it's about a woman or has a Mexican theme, I simply want the reader, whoever that child might be, to be able to fall into the story." The fictional biography, Writing Freedom, was published in 1999 and was the recipient of the Parenting Magazine's Read Magic Award for the 1998 Most Outstanding Children's Books and San Francisco's Chronicle's Best Books of 1998. Mice and Beans was published in 2001 with beautiful illustrations and a humorous storyline about a girl named Rosa Maria who decides to throw a special birthday party for her youngest granddaughter. Award-winning picture book When Marianne Sang was published in 2002. This book draws in on Marian Anderson's 1939 historic concert that took place at the Lincoln Memorial during pre-civil rights America. A Box of Friends was published in 2003, describing a sweet tale about a little girl, Annie, who experiences moving to a new place and misses her friends dearly. Annie's grandma helps her to cope by creating a box in remembrance of Annie's friends. America's award-winning chapter book, Becoming Naomi Leone, was published in 2005. This story encompasses the reader as we learn about Naomi's insecurities and status at school as nobody special. Naomi's grandmother teaches her the value of positive thinking. However, Naomi's life is changed dramatically when her mom steps into her life after 7 years. Award-winning Esperanza Rising was published in 2006 and pays a tribute to Pam Munzo Ryan's grandmother by the name of Esperanza, meaning hope in Spanish. Pam states that my grandmother, Esperanza Munzo Ryan, immigrated to the United States at a very young age, where she lived in the Mexican farm labor camp that I depicted in Esperanza Rising. The book is loosely based on her immigration story, but ultimately a work of fiction.
When I was growing up, she would frequently mention her life in the farm labor camps. And so I always knew about that part of her life. But it wasn't until I was a grown-up and had my own children, and she would come to my house and spend, say, 2 weeks at a time with me on various occasions, that she would sit around and reminisce about Mexico. And I was an adult before I knew anything about her Mexican life and living in Aguascalientes and what it was like for her to grow up there. And it was sort of a revelation to discover that she was actually wealthy and that she had servants, because I always thought that, you know, as a child, her beginnings sort of began in the farm labor camp. You know, in my mind, there wasn't anything before that. And so it was very much an epiphany to discover that she had this whole...
Paint the Wind was published in 2009. Pam named the horses in the story very thoughtfully. Pam stated that many are named for painters of the American West because that is where the story is set. I hope that if readers search for their work, they might appreciate the landscape, history, and color of a part of the United States that is truly unique. Other horses are named for artists whose personal journeys impressed me, and who have overcome their family or society's reservations about them becoming an artist. The book The Dreamer was published in 2010 and is based on the life of poet Pablo Neruda and his battle to follow his own dreams versus his father's dreams for him to become a doctor. 2011 Tony Baloney is a story about a macaroni penguin who leads a simple life but seems to fall into trouble's way repeatedly. His bossy sister Baloney, brother Some Babies Baloney, and Dandelion are always picking on him and getting him into trouble. Pam Munzo Ryan is an inspirational, multicultural author who is dedicated to her work and consistently proves to write and create captivating stories with strong characters that are easy to relate to. Pam's advice to parents includes, surrounding your children with books and reading to them will enrich their lives in immeasurable ways. For more information about this amazing author, Pam Munzo Ryan, please visit www.pammunzoryan.com. Here you will find a biography, a list of books, and great reader's theaters that you can use in your classroom.